WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. A two-county pursuit ends with the car in a ditch and the driver on the run.
The crash ended on Robinson Road in Oktibbeha County. It started on the 10-ton Waterway Bridge in Lowndes County. Chief Deputy Greg Wright says a deputy saw the driver of a Ford Mustang speeding and nearly hit another vehicle. The chase down Frontage Road to Artesia and over to Crawford. Deputies pursued the car down Crawford Road before then turning onto Robinson. A passenger was released at the scene by law enforcement. Investigators have not released the name of the driver, who is still, at this hour, not in custody.
For a week, parents of children who attend MSU's TK Martin Center have been on edge. That's because of social media speculation and changes to staffing. Today, Mississippi State announced a new director for the center. Our Riley Livingston joins us in the studio with more.
No funding, no staff, fewer programs. Those are just some of the rumors surrounding the center that works with children who have special needs. And even though MSU addressed the concerns in May, today's announcement may be just what they need to put people's minds at ease.
It's the start of something new for Mississippi State's TK Martin Center.
Well, the future's positive.
Assistant Professor Casey Stratton-Gadke takes over next month as director. No stranger to people with special needs, she works with the university's Autism and Developmental Disabilities Clinic. But it's the fate of some of TK Martin's programs that worries parents. Some instructors are retiring, others are moving to part-time. And parents say they are concerned that critical therapies and needed programs like Camp Jabberjaw, Project Impact, and Express Yourself Art have reached the end of the line. Stratton-Gadke says not to worry.
All of the great services and program it has in place will continue to remain in place under my leadership. We're very excited about that. I know many families and children and individuals in the community are very worried about that and whether or not their kids will have somewhere to come, and they will. We don't plan to have any of those services move away, and I hope that we'll be able to add new services as we move forward.
That takes money.
As we move forward, funding is always a priority, and that's certainly going to be a top priority for me. I'm really excited that with what funding the center has at the moment, I have some great relationships with those partners already.
She will also look at staffing.
As we move forward, I hope that we would be able to maintain staff that we have and be able to keep expanding the center.
Stratton-Gadke will take over as director on July 1st.
A major rule change from the Southeastern Conference may not be trickling down to your favorite stadium. Last week, the SEC announced schools will be allowed to sell alcohol at sporting events. But just because they can doesn't mean Mississippi State University will. MSU President Dr. Mark Keenum told Sports Illustrated if others want to do it, that's up to them. WCBI reached out to an MSU spokesperson who told us that they are looking into it. Alabama and Auburn have said they do not intend to sell alcohol.
A road paving project that is 4 years in the making is one step closer to happening. 7 bids were submitted to Oktibbeha County to pave Longview Road. The lowest bid came in at $2.2 million. The county has already spent more than $1 million on bridge replacement, widening, and easements. Some county leaders started working on the plan back in 2015. Federal, state, and county money will be used to complete the project.
We're very thankful for our county engineer and the state aid engineer that knew that the funds were limited without raising taxes to get this project completed. And state aid worked with our county engineer to eliminate some extra cost so we could do this without raising the taxes on the citizens of Oktibbeha County.
Supervisors will have to approve the bid before any work will begin. Time to turn things over to meteorologist Jacob Dickey to get a first look at our forecast. Happy Friday, Jacob.
Hey, it's great to be Friday. Unfortunately, we've got the rain with it this evening here, and folks are trying to go out. Some spots getting the downpours, others seeing some sunshine, a little bit of blue sky in Louisville and in Tupelo. Columbus and Vernon still dealing with some showers. It's all because of this big tropical low that's been sitting over us, slowly moving off to the east, bringing lots of heavy rain in spots. Other spots have been left to dry here. Batch of heavy rain and some stronger storms coming into Pickens County now through West Alabama. Earlier severe thunderstorm warning in Pickens and Lamar has been allowed to expire. More pop-up showers and a few rumbles of thunder then along Highway 82, down Highway 12. the showers and storms would bring some heavy rain. Already we've had another 1 to 3 inches in some spots. Others will be left out to dry. We'll talk more about the rain this weekend, and I've got some nicer weather around the corner in just a bit.
Honors continue to pour in for a longtime Lowndes County constable who recently passed away. Willie Hoot West's family was presented with a $1,500 check in Hoot's honor. It's part of the Fallen Officer Fund made possible through the FBI National Academy and Verizon. West died from injuries received in a car accident last month. His daughter, Deborah Edmondson, says Hoot would be so proud.
It's really an honor for Daddy to be recognized like this. It's just the outpouring from everybody has just been amazing. Daddy would just be so proud. I mean, he would be so proud to have been recognized and honored like he has been.
Hoot West served as constable for 52 years and was going to retire at the end of this term.
The Democratic candidate for Commissioner of Agriculture says his farming background qualifies him for the position. Ricky Cole was in Tupelo today speaking to Lee County Democrats. Cole is a longtime farmer from Jones County and believes Mississippi farmers should be able to sell more of their produce and food in the state. He says it's a critical economic development issue.
All I'm asking for us to do is to return to our roots. Corporate farming is not sustainable in the long run. I believe that local producers feeding local people is going to be the wave of the future. We're seeing it in other states. For every dollar we spend in state, we create jobs. For every dollar we send.
Cole faces Republican incumbent Andy Gibson in the general election on November the 5th.
They are the unsung heroes of the Tupelo Elvis Fest. We'll tell you about the Blue Team members. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
Welcome back, everyone. People from across the nation and the world even are in Tupelo for the city's annual Elvis Presley Festival.
It's one of the city's biggest events. As WCBI's Allie Martin reports, it takes a lot of dedicated team members of volunteers to make it all work.
As contestants are on stage for Tupelo's Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Competition, Bobby Gino is making sure everything is running smoothly.
I make sure that the guys get up there, stay in line, stay in order, get on line, do their song. Kind of say, okay, here are the rules. Don't make me come find you.
Bobby is a member of the group of volunteers known as the Blue Team. They cover every aspect of the festival, helping manage other volunteers, doing whatever needs to be done.
Bobby! Bobby! Thank you, Bobby!
Whenever Bobby goes on stage to change out a microphone, the audience cheers for him.
Bobby is just amazing guy.
This is actually one of our favorite, well, if not our favorite festival, because when you come here, once you're here and you come that many years, you're family.
Right.
It's not just a cliche, it's not, that's really what you are, your family.
It really is.
Volunteers also get to know the Elvis tribute artist. In fact, a longtime Blue Team member acts as a tour guide around Tupelo and also tries to keep everybody on schedule.
It's a lot of work getting people where they are, especially when you're dealing with performers.
Yeah.
But hurting Elvises, or Elvis like we like to call them, is probably one of the most rewarding, fun things that I get to do.
Nick Perkins won the Tupelo contest last year and says the Blue Team members are special for many reasons.
It's very family-oriented, very respectful. They always are there to lend a helping hand, no matter if you need help getting in a jumpsuit or if whatever it is. It's just one of those things. They're always there to help, no matter the situation.
Volunteers will be working through Sunday when the festival wraps up. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And organizers say volunteers are always needed. All you have to do is contact the Downtown Tupelo Main Street Association.
We're expecting some more scattered hit-and-miss showers and storms as we head into Saturday. Temperatures into the 80s. More rain looks to continue through the weekend, but there are some great changes to the forecast. Don't go anywhere. I've got the good forecast coming up after the break.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
A lot of those tropical downpours coming on through. Here's what our time lapse in Columbus looked like earlier. Big old storm came on and dropped a lot of rain over the last few hours. Some spots have reported 1 to 2 inches with the locally higher amounts. Still some light showers in the area right now. In Columbus, we're down to 72 with that rain cool there and seeing those variable winds between 5 and 15 miles an hour. Here's another view of that storm. You can see that shelf cloud off in the distance. That came from the north side of town there as it came on in. Perhaps my favorite picture I've seen, though. Mississippi weather in a nutshell right here. Blue sky in front. Some chaos in the back, that storm behind there. I think that's been the story through the day. Hit and miss with those storms. We've had some folks who have gotten the rain. You see those 70s out there. Others are still in the 80s. It's 85 in Tupelo. We've been high and dry up there. Seeing these showers and storms continuing to come on through. Very much hit or miss. If you get the storms, though, man, does the rain come down. Slow-moving tropical moisture really allows for some high rainfall totals here. And we could see that continue through the night, even into tomorrow. Temperatures down into the low 70s tonight. I think we're heading for the upper 60s to near 70 area-wide. We'll get down to 69 in Columbus, 68 in Amory, 67 in Eupora and in Calhoun City. I won't rule out a scattered storm all night long. Seems like the later we get, though, the lesser there will be. Starting off Saturday, a few showers are possible in the morning hours. I think the better chance, again, with the heating of the day, temperatures climbing into the 80s means more of these pop-up tropical downpours across the region. I've got us up to 85 in Columbus, Starkville, and in West Point, 83 in Pontotoc, 85 also in Louisville and in Macon. Here's what Futurecast says. Tonight, then, once we get the sun to set, a lot of those storms will fizzle out. Starting on Saturday, the morning looks mostly dry, maybe a few sprinkles here and there. I think it's underdoing a little bit what we expect on Saturday, maybe a few more storms here and there. We'll keep our fingers crossed that we can keep things dry for some of the super regional games going on across the southeast. But really, another thing we got to talk about today, we've seen a few stronger storms. We may see a few more tomorrow, too. Seems like wind and maybe some small hail would be the main threats. Flash flooding, though. With all of that heavy rain, we've seen some localized flash flooding. Could see another 1 to 2 inches if you can get those storms. However, I do think others will be left out to dry all the way through Monday morning. That will be when we finally can push this low pressure out of our way here, get a strong cold front to come through. This is where the good news starts, folks. Look at this. Cooler than expected, below normal temperatures into next week. Looks like Tuesday, Thursday, through maybe even Friday. Big difference here. There's your tropical air mass through Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, low to mid 80s out there. We've got some lows at night in the 60s. That's some great free air conditioning.
Super Regionals take super preparations. The Bulldogs and the Rebels are getting ready for the weekend, and we check in live with reports from Starkville and Fayetteville next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The Super Regionals begin Saturday in Stark Vegas, the first time the city has hosted a Super since 2016. State prepping to play Stanford in a best-of-3 series. Game 1 set for 2 p.m. on Saturday. But lots up in the air with the games this weekend due to the weather. Head coach Chris Lamona saying earlier all his team needs is a window in the day to get the job done. And someone else beating out the rain this afternoon. WCBI Sports' Tom Ebel is in Starkville with the Bulldogs this afternoon and joins us live from Dudy Noble with more. Hey, Tom.
Courtney, the video on the practice was obviously a much nicer time here in Starkville. We've been forced inside because it's still pouring here outside of Dudy Noble Field here in Starkville. But the matchup for Mississippi State and Stanford is going to come down to the pitching staffs. Obviously, Mississippi State's led by Ethan Small. That's one of the tops in the country. Same with Stanford, 11th best team ERA in the country. But if you ask Ethan Small about Stanford's lineup, he'd tell you, I haven't looked at them yet. Whenever you hear in baseball a pitcher trusting his stuff, Ethan Small is the definition of that.
I'll look at their hitters tomorrow, and then if they have some glaring weaknesses, which I doubt they will since they're this far, then we may look to exploit those. But every week's about challenging myself to just pitch to my strengths, and then if they're doing something that doesn't work with, I'll just make adjustments off of that.
Pretty similar in some ways. The difference is it's rights and lefts. It seemed like Miami had a lot of lefts. Stanford has a lot of rights, so hopefully the wind's blowing in from left and out to right, and maybe is what we need. But they're very similar, but we just got to make our pitches. I feel like if our pitchers make our pitches, we'll be fine.
Speaking of the pitching staff, head coach Chris Lamona saying JT Ginn remains uncertain and that the pitching lineup for this weekend is set to be Ethan Small in Game 1, Peyton Plumlee in Game 2. So we'll see if JT Ginn sees some action as he continues to rehab that elbow injury he suffered in the regional. Reporting here outside Dudy Noble Field, Tom Ebel for WCBI Sports. Courtney, will send it back to you.
Thank you, Tom. Further out west, Ole Miss is getting ready to play a weekend series in Fayetteville for the second time this season. The Super in Arkansas between the Hogs and the Rebels begins early Saturday afternoon. And since the SEC tournament, Ole Miss has won 7 of its last 9 games. One of those 2 losses, it came from Arkansas. Preparation is going to be the key. And WCBI Sports' Chris Bolton is watching the Rebs prepare and joins us live from Fayetteville with more. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Courtney. I'm right outside of Baum-Walker Stadium as we await the beginning of Super Regionals between Ole Miss and Arkansas. Now, I was able to, both teams had practice earlier today. Ole Miss, they started practice around 2:45, and they didn't do anything too major, just some batting practice, fielded some ground balls, nothing too major. Now, I was able to talk to head coach Mike Bianco and some of the guys after practice, and they understand what's at stake. It's going to be a tough game. About 10,000 plus crazy Gamecock fans in front of Razorback fans in front of them, but they feel very confident heading into the matchup.
One of the things that the SEC does, for you or to you is kind of weathers you, thickens the skin, and when you get to this point, you've played in a lot of great environments. Our guys have played in this environment. They've played in Baton Rouge. This is one of the, college baseball's great environments, so, hopefully, they're ready for it.
We like to rise to the occasion. They're always a really good team, and it's always a series that you kind of hype yourself up for because there's going to be 10,000 plus people at every game, and you got to play your best baseball against them to beat them.
Now, the first pitch is set at 11 a.m., so if you got some chores to do in the morning, cut some grass, weed eat, go ahead and get that knocked out, and then it'll probably be time for the first pitch. Now, I'll be here all weekend giving updates throughout this matchup, but for now, reporting in Fayetteville, Chris Bolton, WCBI Sports.
Well, thank you, Chris. Amory today officially announcing Cade Hoggard as its newest baseball coach. Hoggard replacing longtime head coach Chad Williams. The new skipper has spent the past 5 years as head coach of Olive Branch and excelled in his playing career, winning a state championship at Oxford before spending 2 years at Mississippi State and Delta State. Hoggard saying when he got the call from Panthers baseball, he was immediately interested. We'll have more from him coming up for you tonight on WCBI News at 10. That's it for sports. The last look at your weather is next. Stay with us.
WCBI Sports coverage of the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals is brought to you in part by Monroe County Farm Bureau, Granite Guys, OCH Regional Medical Center, Advanced Medicine Compassionate Care, Visit Columbus, the city that has it all, and Bank First, a better way to bank.
We got some rain and storms coming on in here again. We've been seeing those tropical downpours. I've had intern Trevor helping me here. You might have, I don't know. I don't know if they heard that.
They did not hear me.
Okay,
I just got confirmation from Rebecca. They did not hear me calling out the intern. No.
We're having a good time here, of course. I think we're all looking forward to that nice weather.
Yes, indeed we are.
One of those behind the scenes.
Keep my mouth shut.
There we go. Thanks for joining us, everyone.